Welcome to the Monarch Metamorphosis Podcast. I'm Dr. Ryan Green, co-founder and medical director of Monarch Athletic Club, and it is an honor for episode 16 to have Miss Anastasia Sartain with us, who is the founder of The Cycle. And you come from a background of fast-paced tech, startups. You came and actually spoke at one of our Tech Week events, and you are wicked intelligent. People think physicians are very, very smart people. Like you guys, what you do in the world of tech, AI, and things like that, it's incredible. And yet, you are now diving deeply into the world of energy, performance, and overall health, especially with the female menstrual cycle. And you founded The Cycle, which is a functional beverage designed to support menstrual wellness and help women better understand and how to work with their bodies. And it's something that's super interesting to me, and I'm grateful to have you here because I talk about this. It feels like we're talking about this all the time now, which is the medical community seems to have forgotten that women's physiology is different than a man's. And my partner, like more than ever, she's like, it must be nice to wake up every single day and know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Like your hormones are pretty consistent. Like the only thing that really changes is, did you get enough sleep? Mm-hmm. But they don't have to worry about, am I in my luteal? Am I, like all that kind of stuff. And so we're starting to finally figure out, we have to approach things differently for women based on where they are in their cycle. And that's a huge shift, not only in terms of like general health, but weightlifting and other aspects of wellness. And we're starting to see it in terms of like, everyone should sauna and cold plunge. Well, it turns out for women, like cold water at a certain level, like not necessarily the best thing in terms of recovery. So like, I almost feel like we are at the very beginning of truly understanding how to approach, especially in the longevity and the wellness space, not just looking at human beings as a human being and recognizing that there's a significantly different approach that needs to be taken with women based on their cycle. And on top of that, we've complicated it even further because we've spent decades just trying to control a cycle with birth control and other things like that. And now we're seeing what happens when you spend 10, 15, 20 years being exposed to non-natural estrogens and progesterones. So it's a wild time. So you're tackling something that is at the very beginning of what I think is going to be an enormous shift in the market. And we'll get to that. But before, remind me and then everyone listening, like how did you find your way into the world of functional beverages, medical foods, things like that, that led you to the cycle? I think your story is extremely interesting.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah. And thank you for covering this topic and having me here. So yes, first to kind of like kudos to your words, what we love to say, and it even has like on some of our displays in stores, we say hormones happen, drink accordingly, right? Because like you've shared with your partner, hormones happen, but then we continue exercising, eating and drinking as they don't.
Correct.
While they do.
Crazy.
So that's kind of like our tagline, drink accordingly. Yeah. And hopefully, in a couple of years, it's going to be also eat accordingly, relax accordingly.
Totally.
So let's start from the very end, just for fun of it. The future that I'm building is not just like functional drinks, right? We have functional drinks for everything. Mm-hmm. Energy, libido, hair, and somehow we totally missed functional drinks for the most recurring use case for 51% of population.
Crazy.
And 85% of shoppers.
Yeah.
Right? So, but besides that, I see the future and I build the future where periods and our hormones are cherished and respected.
Interesting.
Think of it as like having hotels where you can go on a period break. Right? For like a 3 days pre-period where majority of women feel their worst. Yeah. And then like a first 3 days of bleeding where they need to relax more.
Interesting.
And every single woman who is taking care of her can just go on a period break and things like that, right? Yeah. That's the future where we will end up. And that's my goal, to get us there. So how did I get there?
Yeah, that's a massive goal.
Yes. I've started by building several companies. Yeah. I've built my first AI company in 2016, when AI was not a thing that everybody is talking all the time. It was like a niche approach through certain models. I'm a data scientist myself by training. We were doing like machine learning algorithms, predicting what to wear. Also very like a women-focused topic. And we got huge. We got like 300,000 monthly active users without any marketing spend. Pretty much in like month 6. And then we got funded by Google. Wow. We got funded by Peter Thiel, which is a controversial figure now. He kind of was back then, we didn't know. But still, it was a huge success. And eventually I sold this company to Snapchat.
Got it.
To Snap. That's how I moved from Bay Area, Silicon Valley to Los Angeles. Snap has its headquarters here. And I was pretty much one of the first product directors at Snap as a female. Wow. Which is very interesting because again, like their population of their target audience of this app, it's not heavily masculine. No. It's a very equal split. And I spent several years there as a part of product executive team. And as you and our audience most likely knows, that tech is a very high intense job, especially when you are in a very masculine culture. And I had to prove myself. I was the first product director who was not a graduate of Ivy League. I come from Russia. I mean, I've graduated some Russian university. I was the first one speaking with an accent. So I was in some situations when I was like, oh, okay, I've actually said a smart thing, but nobody listened. Oh, wow. And it was like stress was building up and building up. And I have 2 kids. They were small kids back then. And that was the time when I was diagnosed, mostly self-diagnosed with PMDD. And the way how I like to describe PMDD is like PMS multiplied by 10. It is when for a week, for a couple of weeks, every month, your world just collapses. And you live on ruins. So what you see around you is like things just don't work. Your life is just a total disaster, even though, right, like I'm a director of product at Snapchat, coming from nowhere, from like outskirts of Russia. Like, my life is not a disaster, but that's your perspective. Right. And it like literally ruins your relationship. It ruins your progress at work because I was getting angry out of nowhere. And it ruins your relationship with your husband, with your family. And I was like, hold on a moment, like what can we do here? Sure. So you probably know, coming from a medical background, that the most popular approach to that within OBGYNs is SSRIs. So a certain approach, how you take it. And I was like, you know what, let me find something natural first. How can I help with my hormonal health in a natural way instead of jumping into SSRIs and kind of like masking it? Again, like I have nothing against this approach. I was just like, okay, that's not for me. Sure. So, and I was reading PubMed. PubMed is this database of research and publications. And I stumbled on the article about omega-7 and sea buckthorn, this like a tart orange berry that comes from Himalayas, and it is pretty much the only bioactive source of omega-7, and how it helps with inflammation and how it helps normalizing hormones. And I was like remembering this taste and this berry from my childhood, because we use it as a delicacy and as a food, as a medicine back in Eastern Europe. Interesting. A lot of our food approach is a medicine where I come from. So it's just a normal approach. And I started taking a shot every morning and noticing the difference. Interesting. Then I was talking to herbalists, women herbalists, how I can complement this sea buckthorn with some herbs. And I was a different person. I did not have all these like PMDD symptoms anymore after like a month or 2 of taking it.
Okay, so it took you like 2 cycles to really start to notice
Yes, while I was developing the formula. Now, like when you drink a can, majority of our girlies, they actually feel relief.
Yeah.
That's what they share with us within the same day.
Same day.
And there's a reason behind it. We're going to cover it later. So then my girlfriends were like, oh, Anastasia, can I get this spirit drink from you?
Yeah.
Can you brew it for me? And I was like, you know what? There is something there.
Something there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
So that's how it got me started.
Incredible. And it's amazing that, like, man, the universe, I like to get spiritual sometimes on this in terms of, like, the universe planted what you needed into your life decades before. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, no, this is familiar to me. Like it comes back all around, which is super interesting if you think about that. If you can you dive in a little bit more in terms of like the formulation other than the omega-7 and the sea buckthorn? Like, because it's, I think especially with the nutraceutical space, it's really hard when it comes to recommending things for certain individuals, because you're like, one, you got to trust the manufacturer, and two, especially with things that are, as I've found with some other groups that I've helped contribute, not to functional beverages, but foods, like if you're using something that's really high quality, when it comes to scale, that's where things get difficult, because like I have no idea how much high quality sea buckthorn's available, right? And like I saw it with my co-founder's restaurant when they tried to use really high quality tortillas that were gluten-free. Eventually the manufacturer was like, we literally can't keep up with your demand. And it seems to be like that's like a bottleneck where you want to do the right thing, but you also want to grow. So like from a formulation standpoint, like how are you looking at getting the highest quality ingredients, but also thinking about, all right, like to your point, there's 51% of our population, which is like roughly 200 million women, assuming about half are within menstrual age. Like that's a lot of people that could benefit from this product. Like how have you thought about the formulation in terms of active ingredients, how to scale and things like that? And then I would love to know just kind of like how you landed on your current formulation, especially because you get one shot, and if people don't feel something within like 24 hours, they're on to the next thing that they see on Instagram.
Yeah, all great questions. And I've been already in a situation where my advisors, who are like veterans in the industry of CPG, male founders of one of the most recognized drink brands, and they were like, oh no, Anastasia, you need to use powders. Your supply chain with actually delivering sea buckthorn from Asia and actual sea buckthorn, organic sea buckthorn puree is too complicated. It's not going to work, especially if you're like a very early stage startup. You have to use powders because powders you can buy within the US. And the sea buckthorn puree, you cannot. You need to actually go with this all nonsense of like importing it, like customs, praying that customs are not going to be delayed for this production run, etc. So, and I was, no, I'm not going to do that. Powders, they are lacking omega-7. It's just not going to perform. It's just going to be a marketing gimmick. I'm not going to do that. So I've been already several times in situations where I had to push back just because of my personal experience and just because I want to build a product that actually works. So I want to build a product that women are my sisters and they love it instead of just, oh, it's just going to be me who will get rich, you know? So that's why our formulation, we are in a premium price point. So just 8.4 ounces can, it costs around $4.5.
It's not bad.
Or $5 sometimes, but still, right? It's one of the most expensive product when you're going to see it in a store. But we get like our DM on Instagram, you should see it. It just pings and pings with girls like, I can't believe it that it works. Or I don't see this product on this shelf. They need to restock because I cannot believe my life without it.
Unbelievable.
So, and you know what? My problem with the supplements, my personal problem, is that I need to wait at least 3 months until I will figure it out whether it helps me or not. But how many chances do I have? Right? Like, what's my A/B test? I mean, data science, right? Like, how can I cannot take several at once, so I have only like, I don't know, like 3-4 shots a year to actually find something that works.
Sure.
Here, you are supposed to feel better, to feel comfort, like within the same day. So
amazing.
It's a very easy thing.
Yeah.
And then I can explain why from the standpoint of formulation.
Yeah, please, because like, I mean, $4.50 to $5. I mean, as I would assume, and obviously, like, again, I'm speaking with absolutely zero knowledge of how someone feels in their menstrual cycle. But I would assume if I paid for $5 to feel better versus fatigued, irritable, bloated, cramps, like all the things that I've heard about, I'm like, yeah, $5 seems like totally reasonable to make me feel better. So like, I would love to know, one, more about the formulation, but two, like, second part of that, have you looked at, even with yourself, small subject populations, like what's happening with estrogens and progesterones and markers of inflammation? Because it'd be super interesting to understand, like, maybe this is just, again, like, help the omega-7s, inflammation, potentially impacting serotonergic receptors in the brain. Like, it would be fascinating to understand, like how you've landed on something that literally changed someone's mood in a period of time where, like, they are generally not high energy and don't necessarily feel great. So yeah, I'd love to dive deeper.
Well, a lot of amazing points to cover here. So first of all, you've mentioned that, like, $5 to feel more comfort. Right? Since we're not even a supplement, we're a drink. So we're not treating, curing, or supporting. We're just providing comfort. But there is more to that. Feeling more comfort, and that's what we love about it as a team. That's the only product in the market that allows you to enjoy your periods.
Totally.
So all the rest, what we have, like tampons, pads, like supplements, it just like helps us to get through it. This is delicious. It's a ritual. We own it. We walk the street with the can that says period. So we finally own it, and we sip it and enjoy. So that's a big part of our value as well. Now, we as a team, together with our advisors who are herbalists and some like leading herbalists on the market, we don't believe in powders. We believe in an actual liquid form. So omega-7 in sea buckthorn, it exists in a puree and a juice form. It barely exists in the powder. Herbal extracts that we complement each formula with, we never use powders as well, because it's very tricky. Like what actually is still left in the powder?
Functional.
Yes. So we use the extracts and actual herbal extracts. So, and you cannot fit in this tiny pill of a supplement all the potent dosage. You can in a drink.
Of course.
So let's look at it another angle. If you're gonna go to an herbalist and you're gonna be like, I usually like feel terrible during my luteal phase, right? Like right before I bleed. What would you recommend? And she, or even he, most likely is going to recommend something for digestion, right? Because our progesterone rises, it impacts digestion, like dandelion, for example. We also use, in our pre-period formula, we also use chasteberry, shatavari root, cramp bark. All of these are very commonly recommended by herbalists. So now go at home and try to brew these herbs. This is a disaster. They all are bitter.
Yeah.
You don't actually know how much of potency you get from it.
Totally.
It's like it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So now we build it in a formula that actually tastes delicious.
It's amazing.
So it's right, you drink it, you
Totally.
enjoy it, and then you get some comfort
Yeah.
from herbs that are traditionally prescribed for this phase.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you have a pre, during, any other ideas of things coming out to like basically own the month for women?
Own the women life cycle.
Yeah.
So that's our big announcement.
Sure.
We're allowed to share it because of some exclusivity with press only now.
Got it.
Is that
Exciting.
we've launched 2 additional formulas.
Amazing.
And one of it is a perimenopause comfort.
Interesting.
And another is a menopause comfort.
Brilliant.
So
And
now
that's a daily.
Yeah, we support women pretty much throughout their life cycle. We don't have prenatal, we don't have postpartum, but we cover the majority of the cycle.
Amazing.
And it's beautiful to observe when I do demos in stores myself, and I do them constantly.
Right.
And I see women who are like, oh, my daughter tends to have a really difficult period. So I'm going to grab it for her to try.
Yeah.
Or a daughter is going to be like, oh, my mom is like really struggling going through menopause.
Amazing.
And it's such a beautiful moment.
Totally.
Right? So it's like generational, and women can support each other with that.
That's brilliant. In the last few minutes, what I always like to, because like I just feel like we're at the tipping point of a revolution where everything that we focus on in health and wellness is finally going to have just so much more information and data available, because we are acknowledging the other side of the coin, which is, you know, what you alluded to in terms of cycle and flow. Is this your Mount Rushmore, like the thing at the end of the day, at the end of your life, that you're going to look back on and be like, yep, this was like everything led up to this initiative? Because I do believe everyone's born with a mission and a purpose, and I would love to learn, you know, now that you've been through the gauntlet, so to speak, you've been through tech, especially at a time where it was traditionally male dominated, and you literally just had to, you know, more or less sacrifice everything that you knew about being a female to, you know, continue to progress. But now that you're in this world, like in 10, 20, 30 years, what do you hope to look back on and be like, yes, I this is the mark that I left for humanity?
Yeah, so I love this question. Thank you so much, Ryan, for asking, because sometimes I feel like some external forces are guiding me through that, because actually after my experience at Snapchat, I left and I've started in another tech company. I've raised like tens of millions of dollars for my AI tech companies. Now it's like an AI tech boom, and I'm this like one of the few specialists with 10 plus years of experience of product management and data science and AI. And here I come starting my period drinks and it grows so fast that I had to make this switch. And starting this year in January, I actually left my tech career entirely to just work on the period drinks. So because I just felt that it's not going to work if I'm not going to be focused on it 100% of the time. And while in parallel, we're in this like transformational moment when I'm at some trade fair, I see male buyers passing by and they look at my stand and they're like, provocative. Or a buyer calls my cell phone and is like, we need it immediately in our stores because women's health is trending right now. You know, and sometimes I hear things and I'm like, hold on, provocative. So our health and our hormones are provocative?
Crazy.
Or like, hold on, women's health is trending right now. Trending? Like, isn't it supposed to be a priority for entire population? So,
crazy.
And to answer your question, right, like in 10, 30 years, and I dedicate my entire life to this mission, I want to see a world that cherish
Yeah.
That I want to see a world that cherishes our periods.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see a world that has like a spa programs, hotels, the government-funded programs where women can have a break during their periods, training programs, right?
Sure.
Like when coaches understand that like during your follicular it's better to do high-intensity workout, and during your luteal like some strength training, etc.
Yeah.
You know better.
I do.
Yes.
I do, and you know what? Perhaps it's because we're in California, so we have people kind of on the leading edge and thinking about things that are novel and new. But you and I are approaching the same problem from different directions, which is health is our most valuable asset. There is literally no more valuable investment anyone can make than in themselves. And we just, day after day after day, beat the hell out of ourselves and rely on our resilience until it breaks down. And unfortunately, when it breaks down, as I've said a million times, you are 100 steps too far from where you should have been. And I think especially with what you're doing and bringing awareness and actually bringing a tangible, high-quality product to people to help them during something that happens literally every 28 days is so valuable in terms of allowing the female population to like function at their highest possible potential and not suffer 25% of the month. Like, it's crazy. So you said something which 100% is the universe is absolutely pushing you in the direction that you're supposed to be. It brought you to our Tech Week event. It brought you here. So I'm super grateful to have you. And everyone who's listening, and our team will share everything about the cycle because it's amazing. And I'm just grateful that you thought of it because it's such an obvious thing. I can't believe I didn't think about it sooner. So it's wonderful to have you. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to sharing everything that you are doing with our population and the population abroad. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And yes, just to complement your words, periods rule our lives.
Yeah.
That's why my lifetime mission is to have a real ingredients for real support on every shelf.
Yeah.
And we're very proud that Sprouts, all of their 500 stores, supported our mission. And we're launching in each single one of them.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Starting first week of May.
Congratulations.
So
that's
now,
enormous.
Our dear women to whom we dedicate this podcast can find us there.
Amazing.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Anastasia, thank you for being here.
Thank you
for creating the cycle. And thank you guys for listening to episode 16 of the Monarch Metamorphosis Podcast. We will see you soon.